If you've ever visited Egypt, you are familiar with this sound, the sizzling and crackling of falafels being prepared on almost every street corner. This is one of Egypt's accidentally vegan meals and one of my favorite foods in the world, the falafel sandwich. In today's video, I'm going to take you behind the scenes of what it takes to make an Egyptian falafel. Captain Gabar and I are going to go into the lab and create the ultimate falafel sandwich. Going.Back.Back. Allow us to reintroduce ourselves.
Our name is GoingGoing.BackBack.
In 2019, we had 3 kids under 5, a new minivan, and a house full of things.
With our eldest due to start school in a few months, we decided it was now or never to take an extended vacation. And so we set off to explore the world and be back in time for his first day.
We were several months into our trip when the pandemic hit and schools around the globe shut down.
It confirmed the idea that was already brewing in our minds, that there was no better classroom than the one our kids were already in, the world.
We sold our minivan, gave away everything that couldn't fit into a suitcase, and became full-time travelers.
Join us as we very slowly travel the world, Going.Back.Back.
On almost every street corner in Egypt, you will find someone preparing falafel sandwiches. Be it the morning, noon, or night, this food is readily available throughout Egypt. At about 3 to 5 Egyptian pounds, you can get yourself a delicious falafel sandwich. It's making me hungry just talking about it. The falafel sandwich is usually accompanied by tomatoes, lettuce, cucumber, and a side of pickle. This is truly one of my favorite accidentally vegan dishes in the entire world. Here, Captain Gabar begins to speak with his friend Mohammed about the process of making falafels. Unlike Greek falafels, which use chickpea, falafels in Egypt use fava beans. The fava beans are processed with parsley, onion, garlic, and spring onions. I used to often wonder, why are Egyptian falafel balls green on the inside? That is due in part to the falafels being grinded with parsley and spring onion. The parsley really gives the falafel balls a great flavor. The origins of the falafel are somewhat disputed. Many people believe that it originated in Egypt around 1,000 years ago. At the same time, Coptic Christians would fast for over 200 days a year, during which they were refrained from eating meat and animal products. This led to the development of meat substitutes, with falafels being one of them. The falafel became a popular food in Egypt and was sold in the street markets as a cheap, filling, and delicious meal. As the dish spread across the Middle East and beyond, a variety of fillings and toppings were added, depending on the region. Here we can see Mohammed processing the fava beans, and as you can see, it starts to come out green. This again is due to the amount of parsley put into the mix. Man, just look at that. A process worth waiting for. If you're asking why we're doing this process at night, it's particularly hot in the daytime in Egypt. So during the summer days, a lot of work like this is done in the nighttime. Today, the falafel is enjoyed by people all over the world, with many unaware that it's accidentally vegan. In fact, a falafel sandwich has become the go-to meal for many vegans and vegetarians as a protein-packed option when dining out. Although the falafel is a nutritious and delicious snack, it is deep fried, so it can be a bit heavy. I wouldn't recommend getting 5 falafels at one time. The falafel is a deep fried patty made from ground fava beans. It's a popular street food in the Middle East, particularly in Egypt and Israel. The patties are served typically in a pita bread with vegetables, pickles, and sauces. My favorite sauce to add on it is the tahina sauce. Captain Gabar and I actually met over a falafel. Passing by his house one day, he asked me to stop and try one of his falafel balls. This was the beginning of a beautiful friendship. Not only was it one of the best falafel balls I had ever tasted, it was the best falafel ball I ever tasted. Before living in Luxor, Egypt for 1 year, when I made falafels, I would usually use chickpeas. Let's talk about the difference between Egyptian falafels and Greek falafels.
Battle of the falafel balls.
While they may look similar, there are some key differences in the ingredients and preparations that set them apart from each other. Egyptian falafel balls, also known as tamia, are made from ground fava beans, parsley, onions, garlic, and a blend of spices. The mixture is shaped into a ball and deep fried until golden brown. They are typically served in pita bread with vegetables, sauces, tahina sauce, or hot sauce. On the other hand, Greek falafel balls, or brave, get this. What the falafel? Try saying that 3 times fast. It's all Greek to me. This traditional Greek dish is more like a patty or a fritter, whatever the case, it's a falafel. This mixture too is shaped into balls and then baked in the oven until crispy. The mixture contains onions, garlic, a blend of Mediterranean spices like oregano and thyme. They are often served with tzatziki sauce. By excluding the yogurt sauce, it can be made vegan. I have to say, I love both styles of falafel. And I've even come up with a cool recipe where I take the Greek style falafel and infuse it with the traditional Egyptian spices and fava bean falafel ball.
Damn, son.
Both types of falafel balls are delicious in their own right. So the next time you're trying a falafel, take note of the differences and enjoy each bite for what it is. Typically, I would have a falafel or 2 a day because I lived in Egypt. So when there was no go-to food options besides cheeseless pizza and French fries, which is usually the vegan go-to for travelers, a falafel would be my choice. Captain Gabbar's falafels are particularly tasty. I don't know what it is, but what he puts into his falafel balls makes them truly an amazing dish. I spent so much time with him that I think I perfected his falafel recipe. Thanks, Captain Gabbar. This entire grinding process took about 1.5 hours. If you go to most falafel shops in the area, they have their own grinder in the back and they do this process. If you see street vendors, they would have to come to someone like Muhammad here and have their fava beans processed each day or as needed for their business. Again, falafels are one of the oldest iconic street foods in the country. While the exact origins of the falafel is unknown, it's believed to have been created in Egypt over 1,000 years ago. In the early days, falafels were made of fava beans instead of chickpeas, as fava beans were cheaper and more readily available. This is why Egyptian falafels are different from other variety of falafels found in the Middle East, such as Lebanese or Palestinian falafels. Tamia was initially called tamia or tam, which means food or meal in Arabic. The name evolved to tamia with time, and since has become synonymous with the dish. In Egypt, tamia is popularly eaten as a breakfast food or sold in a street food stall throughout the country. Each vendor offers their own unique twist on the dish, and some even offer multiple flavors of falafel, such as spinach or spicy. Today, tamia is a beloved dish that is spread far beyond Egypt, with variations found in the Middle East and beyond. It has rightfully earned its place as a staple of Egyptian cuisine and remains a popular choice for locals and tourists seeking a tasty, filling, and affordable street food option. All right, Captain Gabbar and I are finished here. Thank you, Muhammad, for this experience. And now we're headed back to Captain Gabbar's house to prepare falafels. All right, here we go. We start off by firing up the oil. We've got to get this oil really hot for these falafel balls to get nice and crispy. Here, Captain Gabbar has pre-made the mix. On the side, we fried some peppers and some capsicum. Test that oil, and now the magic begins. Here you can see Captain Gabbar using a falafel scoop to actually make the circular shape for the falafel sandwiches. To avoid the falafels from sticking onto the scoop, you dip it in a little bit of water each time before preparing the next falafel ball. If you're ever in Egypt and you decide to stop at one of these falafel stands, make sure you check the oil. If the oil looks brown and murky, I would avoid eating at that stand. Old deep fried bean oil can make you really, really sick. In our next video, I'm going to show you how to make the ultimate falafel made with Captain Gabbard's unique falafel recipe. Wow, you better stay tuned for that one. The shaped falafel balls are deep fried in hot oil until they're golden brown and crispy on the outside. The frying should take about 5 to 7 minutes depending on the size of the falafel ball and the temperature of the oil. Be careful not to overcrowd the pan, as this can lower the temperature of the oil, which will leave you with an oily, uncooked falafel. Yuck. Overall, frying Egyptian falafel balls is a quick and easy process, but it requires patience and attention to detail to ensure that the falafel balls are cooked evenly and have the perfect crispy texture on the outside. And there you have it, the Egyptian falafel. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and join us for more amazing adventures from around the world. Going, back, back.